Hi, have a good day. How are you? I hope you're good. We will be talking about differentiating language used in academic texts from various disciplines. Generally, academic writing is formal, objective, and technical. It is formal by avoiding causal or conversational language, such as contractions or informal vocabulary. Just like, for example, um, contraction of modal verbs by using pronouns or using shortened languages or words and or abbreviations. That is more of our conversational lingo. Also, it is impersonal or objective by avoiding direct reference to people or feelings and instead focusing on factual information. So when we talk about objectivity of a data, we will always base that on facts. Kanang gikan sa mga researches or kanang naagyoy ebidensya or we have proof to give or follow. And we are not just going to give our personal opinions, like for example, I like this, I like that, or according based on your feelings only. Now let's proceed to number 2. We have to avoid contracted forms of modals such as can't, doesn't, shouldn't, and instead we have to choose their expanded form such as cannot, does not, and should not. Take these following examples. Number 1, can't. Can't is the short term for cannot. Example, I can't go to the party tonight because I have to work. So instead of writing can't, you have to write I cannot go to the party tonight because I have to work. Number 2, couldn't. Couldn't is the short term for could not. An example, she couldn't find her keys, so she had to call a locksmith. Therefore, instead of using couldn't, we have to use she could not find her keys, so she had to call a locksmith. Next example is won't. Won't is a short term for will not. Example, I won't be able to make it to the meeting tomorrow. So instead of writing I won't, you are going to write I will not be able to make it to the meeting tomorrow. Example number 4, wouldn't is a short term for would not. Like for example, he wouldn't listen to my advice and now he's regretting it. Instead of using or writing wouldn't, we have to replace it with he would not listen to me to my advice and now he's regretting it. Next is shouldn't. Shouldn't is a short term for should not. Like for example, you shouldn't eat too much junk food if you want to stay healthy. So instead of writing shouldn't, you have to write you should not eat too much junk food if you want to stay healthy. And mustn't. Mustn't is the short term for must not. Like for example, you mustn't forget to submit your assignment by the deadline. So instead of using mustn't, you have to use must not. Example, you must not forget to submit your assignment by the deadline. The last example is mightn't. Mightn't is a short term for might not. Example, sentence, I mightn't be able to come to the party, but I'll let you know. So instead of writing mightn't, you have to say, I might not be able to come to the party, but I'll let you know. Let's proceed to number 3, something that we should avoid. Number 3 is avoid two-word counterparts such as postponed, mention, or admire. Like this following example. A, look after. Look after is addressing to take care of. Instead of using look after, we should replace it with to take care of, or I mean to take care of. Like for example, this sentence: can you please look after my cat while I'm on a vacation? Instead of using look after, we should write, can you please take care of my cat while I'm on a vacation? Number 2, find out. Find out is to discover or learn. So instead of writing find out, we have to write, I need to find out what time the movie starts. And we are going to write, I need to discover or learn what time of the movie starts. Example number 3 is break up. Break up is to end a relationship. Like for example, they decided to break up after dating for 2 years. Or instead of writing break up, we have to write, they decided to end the relationship after dating for 2 years. And next one is set up. Set up means to arrange or establish. To arrange or establish, we need to set up a meeting to discuss the project. Like instead of writing set up, we have to write, we need to establish a meeting to discuss the project. Or it could also be, we need to arrange the meeting to discuss the project. And next one is turn on. Turn on is to activate or start. Could you please turn on the engine? Or instead of writing that way, we should write, could you please start the engine? Do you understand now? And we have so much more of our examples. And you have to read that by yourself. I will just be giving the following two-word counterpart. Like for example, give up. Instead of writing give up, stop trying or surrender. And find fault or to criticize or point out flaws. I mean, point out flaws. So, wala dyan kayo lang makita, kundi ang sayo parang yun. Di dyan kakakita og nindot. Ambot na unsa na imong mata. Okay, something like that. Next, breakdown. To stop functioning or analyze in detail. And call off usually happens in a relationship. Call off means wala na. To abort, cancel, wala na. There's nothing to expect about something. Hawa na din na maglaon. Okay. Another one is find out. Oh, na naman din. It's done. Next, let's proceed to number 4. Something we should avoid as well. Number 4 is avoid using abbreviated forms such as ASAP, C/O, and DEPT. Instead, choose their expanded forms such as soon as possible, care of, or department. Like for example, ASAP, kano sa gayta, hanas kayta magamit ani. We are really good at using this when we are on chats. I mean Messenger, IG, Snapchat, something like that. You are very good at it, students. ASAP for as soon as possible. Instead of writing ASAP, we have to write the expanded term as soon as possible. Please submit a report ASAP so that we can review it before the meeting. Next is if FYI. FYI is for your information. Like for example, if FYI, the office will be closed on Friday for a company-wide event. Instead of using or writing FYI, we should say, for your information, the office will be closed on Friday for a company-wide event. Like that. Next is RSVP, which means kindly reply or please reply. Example, kindly RSVP to the wedding invitation by next Monday. Instead of writing that one, you are going to say, kindly reply to the meeting invitation by next Monday. Next is DIY. So you're very familiar at this one, Mr. DIY. Okay, DIY or do it yourself. Like for example, I'm planning to DIY my Halloween costume this year instead of buying one. I am planning to do it myself, my Halloween costume this year instead of buying one. So that's all. Next is ETA or ETA. ETA means estimated time of arrival. Estimated time of arrival. Example, my ETA at the airport is 6 p.m. and I'll see you there. So what you should write there is, my estimated time of arrival at the airport is 6 p.m. and I'll see you there. Next is VIP or very important person. We are VIPs. The VIP guest will have access to a special lounge during the event. Meaning to say, the very important person guest will have access to a special lounge during the event. I hope one day you will become a VIP. Me too. But it's okay if not. I'm not really craving to be. Next is OMG. OMG means oh my god. Like, OMG, I can't believe I won the lottery. It's incredible. Instead of writing that one, we should say or write, oh my god, I cannot believe I won the lottery. This is incredible. Make that. And BTW. BTW means by the way. Example sentence. BTW, have you heard about a new restaurant? So instead of writing BTW, we should say or write, by the way, have you ever heard about the new restaurant? Next is LOL or LOL, which means laugh out loud. Laugh out loud. Like for example, that joke was hilarious. I couldn't stop LOLing. Instead of using that one, oh, that joke was hilarious. I could not stop laughing out loud. I could not stop laughing out loud. Now let's continue another discipline that we have to remember, or structure of academic writing. Number 2 is objectivity. Objectivity in academic writing requires an impersonal manner. The writer must distance himself from the discussion by being impartial or factual. Objectivity can be achieved through the following, so we should remember this one. 1. Avoid the use of personal pronouns such as you, I, and we. Those are the common pronouns that are used in most students in their research, I guess. Instead, refer to the person as to their professional or role. Profession or role. Like for example, personal pronoun, we measure the liquid accurately. The objective alternative for that is the researchers measured the liquid accurately. Instead of we, the students, they're going to use, we have to use the researchers because they are the ones who are researching. The students ba. Next is I have here a question before we proceed. Why is it important to avoid personal pronouns in academic text? Nganong kinahanglan man. The first answer is that academic writing aims to present information and arguments in unbiased and objective manner. By avoiding personal pronouns, the focus is shifted to the subject matter itself, allowing the research, evidence, and analysis to take center stage. This promotes a more neutral and impartial tone, enhancing the credibility and professionalism of the writing. Yung biases. Lisod na if we're going to be biased on something and then we are delivering information that shouldn't be done. Like, for example, personal pronoun. I believe this study provides valuable insights into the topic. So the objective alternative for this is, this study provides valuable insights into this topic. Next to objectivity is, we should avoid emotive language that shows biases and lessens objectivity. Makapamabaw sa iyang iyahang proof ba, sa iyahang imbis kay katuuhan na unta mo, di na lang murag libog na ta o tinuod ba or day or something like that. So dili jud nato siya i-inject or dili jud nato siya sagulan og kanang emotive language, kanang more based on our emotions, based on our perspectives, personal opinions, feelings, emotions, like that. Like, for example, the researchers were disappointed with the outcome of the study. So which one is the emotive language here? Disappointed. So it's disappointed na dismaya ka. Kanang it's touching already the feelings of a person. So instead of using that, we have to use this alternative. The researchers did not expect the result. Instead of using disappointed, syempre, wala ka na-expect. Disappointed jud ka, kaya wala ka na-expect. Nga mahitabo to, and it shouldn't be. So sa imong research, you have to be formal, and you have to say the researchers did not expect the result. Example number 2, with emotive language. The results of the study were absolutely astounding, providing beyond a doubt that our approach is superior. So without emotive language or objective alternative, the results, this should be done or written. The results of the study were significant, indicating the effectiveness of the approach. Pareha ra maghapon sila og meeting. They have the same meaning, but then we are just eliminating the emotive language there, which basically touching the feelings of a person. Now let's proceed to number 3. Place emphasis on the information rather than the writer or the reader. Example. In academic writing, this means that the focus should be on presenting objective facts, evidence, and analysis. And the explanation here is that, analysis rather than personal opinion, experiences, or emotions. The goal here is to maintain sense of objectivity and credibility in the writing. Example number 1. Instead of saying I believe or I think or in my opinion, write research studies consistently demonstrate, or scholars argue, or evidence suggests. Explanation: by avoiding personal pronouns and subjective language. So, subjective based on personal opinions, feelings, emotions, etc. The emphasis is placed on the informal and the research rather than the writer's personal beliefs or opinions. Example number 2. Instead of using emotional language like heartbreaking, amazing, or shocking, Use neutral terms like significant, remarkable, or surprising. Why? Because emotional language can bias the reader's perception and distract from the objective presentation of information. Using neutral term maintains a focus on the facts and evidence. Example number 3, instead of making sweeping generalizations or assumptions, provide specific evidence and examples to support your arguments. This strengthens the credibility of your writing and avoids relying solely the subjective statements. And example number 4, instead of using personal anecdotes or experiences, rely on scholarly sources and academic research to support your arguments. Like for example, the explanation here is, while personal experiences can be valuable in some forms of writing, in academic writing, the emphasis is on using reputable sources and scholarly research to provide evidence and support your claims. And example number 5, instead of using exaggerated or sensational language, panubra ba, sobrang, like for example, he is crying a pail of tears. Grabe, hilak siya kag pail of tears. So that is an exaggerated form of statement. Let's continue. Using exaggerated sensational language can undermine the credibility of the information being presented. So it is important to use accurate and measured language to convey the information effectively. Next is explicitness. This allows readers to trace how the various parts of the text are related. This can be achieved by the use of signaling words. Like for example, signaling word firstly, secondly, third, next, what else? On the other hand, like for example, furthermore, okay, this means that when the writer is clear and specific in writing, it helps the readers to understand the connections between different ideas or sections within the text. Kasi nabot sila, it can connect to ideas. It can connect to sentences. It can connect to phrases. They are going to be connected with the use of signaling words. Signaling words are words or phrases that indicate these connections and help guide the readers through the logical flow of the content. Like for example, furthermore. Furthermore this word is used to add another supporting point or idea to the previous one. Like for example, the study found that regular exercise improves cardiovascular health. Furthermore, it also enhances cognitive function. So in contrast, number 3, explicitness. Explicitness allows readers to trace how the various parts of text are related. This can be achieved by the use of signaling words. This means that when the writer is clear and specific in the writing, it keeps the readers understand the connections between different ideas or sections within the text. Signaling words are words or phrases that indicate these connections and help guide the readers through the logical flow of the content. Like for example, furthermore. Furthermore, this word is used to add another supporting point or idea to the previous one. Like for example, the study found that regular exercise improves cardiovascular health. Furthermore, it also enhances cognitive functions. Another example is in contrast. This phrase is used to highlight a difference or contrasting point between two ideas or concept. Contrasting means dili sila Pareho, opposite sila. The first study suggests that social media has a negative impact on mental health. In contrast, the second study argues that it can actually have positive effects on self-expression and social connectivity. I have here a list of signaling words for you to get familiarized with or memorize. Addition. For addition, to address addition, you're going to use additionally, furthermore, moreover, or in addition to. To address contrast, you are going to use however, on the other hand, conversely, or in contrast. For cause and effect, you are going to use therefore, thus, consequently, as a result. And to address example, you're going to use for instance, for example, such as, and in particular. To address summary or conclusion, you're going to use in summary, in conclusion, to summarize, or overall. Then for time and sequence, you are going to use the signal words such as first, secondly, next, finally. Then for clarification, you're going to use in order. In other words, that is to say, to clarify or to put simply. And to express exception, you're going to use except for, unless, apart from, and excluding. I have here a sample sentence. Additionally, so we are here to express or emphasize addition for in a context. Like for example, additionally, the research findings suggest a positive correlation between regular exercise and improved mental health. And then in contrast, which is expressing contrast or dili sila magkapareho, in contrast to popular beliefs, studies have shown that moderate caffeine consumption can be health benefits. Next is number 4, caution. I guess this is the last structure or discipline in academic writing. Caution in academic writing requires a writer to avoid making generalizations. Academic text provides knowledge built from proven theories and concepts. You must not include statements which are incorrect and misleading. So, unsa man ang misleading? Kanang nahimo ka murag si Mang Kanerbang, mao ni imong topic, mao ni imong team nga gi-develop ni murag ang imong sumpay kay misleading na kayo, di na inline kanang ni tipas ni simang wa na siya ni inline sa imuha yung focus. Like for example, what makes a statement? Or so let's continue. What makes a statement misleading? First, the lack of evidence. Unsa man ang the lack of evidence? Wala kay ebidensya, kuwangan ng imong ebidensya. A statement can be deemed incorrect or misleading if it lacks supporting evidence or relies on unbelievable or unreliable resources. Dili kaayo kasaligan, wala kay verification about factual verification, wala kay source kung asa ni gikan, wala kay exact nga details kung tinuod ba jud nahitabo, walay mode of verification para basihan sa imong data, and etc. There are so much factors for this. And in academic writing, it is essential to provide credible evidence, such as research studies, scholarly articles, or expert opinions to back up any claims made. Without proper evidence, a statement may be dismissed as unsubstantiated or biased. The next one that makes a statement misleading is logical fallacies. Statements that contain logical fallacies can be considered incorrect or misleading. Logical fallacies are errors in reasoning that undermine the validity or an argument. For example, For example, the use of ad attacks where the focus is on attacking the person making the argument rather than addressing the argument itself. It is a logical fallacy. It is important to present arguments that are based on sound logic and avoid fallacious reasoning. So, contradiction of established knowledge. Contradiction of established knowledge. If a statement contradicts well-established knowledge or specific consensus, it can be deemed incorrect or misleading. Academic writing relies on the existing body of knowledge and builds upon it through rigorous research and critical analysis. And statements that go against established facts or widely accepted theories without providing compelling evidence are likely to be considered incorrect or misleading. Like for example, maglahi kag naa na kay resources, naa na kay basihan, naa na kay mga pruweba. Yan ang ita pa jud kag lain nga resources. Unya kadto nga resources nga imong nakuha or research data lacks evidences or resources that could prove how reliable it is, mo na nga dili na siya katuuhan, kanang murag ma-mislead na hinuon, maglibog na hinuon ang imong mga readers instead nga motuo sila sa imuhang gipangsuwat. Kanang like for example, asa gikan kinsay nagsuwat, kanus ang nahitabo, asa mga proofs nga makapamatuod jud ba nga tinuod tong imuhang gikuha nga data gikan ana nga resources or sites yeah. Katong imong gikuha kay based na ay mga legal basis na ay kompleto nga detalye. So maglibog na hinon kung asa may tuuhan anyway. So that's why you have to be sure that the information that you're giving to the people or writing in your context should be reliable. Kanang naa jud siya exact references, kanang kumpleto ang references niya dili kay daghan patag pangutana ikahuman na tog basa sa imuhang gipangsuwat. Next is the last one is structure. Napaday last one. Structure. Number 5 is structure. In the sentences of academic text must show a level of complexity that reflects sophistication or academic writer. Combining ideas effectively, nominalization, and using passive construction are some ways to achieve structure suitable for academic writing. Like for example, continuing ideas effectively. Moreover, the results of this study support the hypothesis proposed in previous research. Like, the use of moreover indicates that the statement is adding new information that strengthens the argument. By mentioning that the result supports the previous proposed hypothesis, it shows a logical continuation of ideas and build upon existing knowledge. Ano bang because you are using signaling words, it allows the readers to tell that those ideas, two different ideas, are still connected with each other. Kanang sumpay, you're just adding some details because you are using in addition to, so or moreover, you are signifying that there has to be something. There has to be added something like kanang a new idea which is related to the previous idea that you were writing before. Next is nominalization. Nominalization is implementation of new policies led to a significant decrease in crime rates. The use of nominalization turning a verb into a noun, implementation, and decrease, which makes the statement more concise and formal. So instead of using those words, next is nominalization. The implementation of new policies led to a significant decrease of crime. That is the example. So the explanation here is the use of nominalization turning a verb into a noun, implementation, and decrease makes the statement more concise and formal. So it focuses on the action and result rather than specific actors, providing a more effective and general perspective. So that is the end of our discussion this time. See you next video.